A very good evening to all of you, those who are joining late. Today we are very glad to introduce to you our achievers. Of course, we could not call of them. We have that limitation actually, but I'm very glad that today we have Manhar, Shruti, Rushil, Nidhi out here. And I'm very glad also to have GP sir here. So before we start the proceedings, let me quickly introduce you to the panelists, and then we go ahead and start, of course, with the words of wisdom from GP sir. Okay, so welcome all the students and my dear achievers this year. So I'm very glad to introduce to all of you Manhar Bansal, who secured All India Rank 1 in CLAT 2021. He was LSAT India topper and he secured a rank 2 in AILT, National Law University, Delhi. We have Nidhi out here. Nidhi Agrawal secured All India Rank 2 in CLAT this year. She has been our CLAT online classes student. Manhar was a 2-year classroom program student at Connaught Place. Shruti, very warm welcome. Shruti secured All India Rank 10 in CLAT 2021, and she also secured a seat in NLU Delhi with a rank of 31 in AILT 2021. And last but not the least, we have Rushil Batra. Glad to have you, Rushil, here. All India rank 47 in CLAT 2021. So it's a wonderful occasion. I would say it's a day of learning. It's a day of exchange of ideas, a day, I would say, of celebrations. Our achievers have made us proud once again. Year after year, they have been doing that, but this year is no different, I would say, but they have gone ahead and given us some of the best ranks in the country. CLAT 2021, we have 9 out of top 10, 70 plus selections in top 100. AILT also similar results, 4 out of 5 top 5 ranks out there. And no doubt, we had a lot of toppers out there in LSAT India as well. Other exams results are yet to be out, so we'll definitely have that results coming once again. Today for this session, we have Ark Srinivas, President CL Educate, as the moderator. And it's a privilege to have Gautam Puri sir, whom we all know as GP sir, to be in this session. And I would now request Gautam Puri sir to share his words of wisdom and enlighten and also appreciate the achievers. So over to you, GP sir.
Okay, thank you, Amitendra, and welcome everyone. And first of all, congratulations to all of you. But Rushil, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Yeah, so you, Rushil, you, Manhar, and there was one more person. I guess the three of you were studying together. Areeb.
Right,
yeah.
Sir.
Yeah, so when I was interacting with Manhar, he did talk about you. Okay, and similarly, Shruti is there, but Sukarn is missing. So what happened to Sukarn in IELTS, Nidhi?
Rank 3, sir. He got rank 3.
Rank 3. So what is he planning now?
In NLS, he's in NLS.
Okay, that's great. Okay, chalo, that's good. And frankly, this statement which comes with every words of wisdom, frankly, I don't know what to say, because end of the day, what students want is to interact with the 4-5 of you, not with us. And while I have interviewed 3 or 4 of you, and I have and others, and there are videos available, I think from a student perspective, students who are going to be taking CLAT 22, 23, for them, it is your words which are going to burn, because hum to bolte rehte hain ye sab cheezein. But when you say that we did this and these are the things which worked for us, these are the things which we are useful for us, these are the things which were a waste of time, it will have a greater, let's say, credibility over anything else. Okay. And my request to all the students of CLAT 21, 22, and 23 who are attending this session, this is your session. ARCS is there to moderate. I am here to start the session and then I'll exit. And you have to ask questions. This is an opportunity which you will not get very often. Keep your focus on to academics. What are the things which work? What are your challenges? How did these guys, and don't assume these people did not have challenges. Okay, Nidhi will probably talk about her up and down journey. Shruti, I have not interacted, so I don't know what her challenges were. Manhar did talk about their own challenges between which he, Rushil, and Arif had. So ask them, talk to them, find out your get all queries which you have, doubts which you have cleared. Ask is there to moderate, to make sure that there's no, let's say, chaos all over the place, and the same question does not keep coming again and again. But essentially, your session, over to you. The kids who are for 21, 22, and 23, and the three people on the screen, Manhar is has possibly a video issue. So these four are the ones you have to seek answers from, not from us. 3 months down the line, if you ask me any question, I'll probably redirect you to one of these videos. These videos will be saved and will be available in your Aspiration account. Okay, so I'll probably redirect you there. Okay, yeah, great. So back to you, Aks, and all the best. And see, yeah, okay. Let's just.
Thank you so much, GP. Thank you so much, GP sir. And I think it's now it's a cliche. So many of you have congratulated you. I don't know whether the feeling has sunk in that you are absolutely at the top of the pile, getting, whether it is Manhar first rank or Rushil, getting into an NLSIU or Nidhi, Shruti. I feel loss of words, like GP sir was going. It almost feels like we have got the ranks, not that you guys have got it. I'm sure the same is same with your parents too. But here is what, like GP sir has said, I'm going to do this. This is not our game. Manhar, Rushil, Shruti, and Nidhi, I want you to take this up as a kind of opportunity to tell all your juniors, in fact, these are all your juniors who are looking up to you, saying that यार करना क्या चाहिए, मिल गया तो है रैंक, बट कैसे मिलेगा, कितना पढ़ना पड़ता है, बहुत पढ़ना पड़ता है, कितने मॉक्स लिखने पड़ते हैं, do you have extra horn somewhere, do you have something else stored up your ally, and you have really got this rank. I mean, kuch to different hoga kind of things. I don't want to kind of break that suspense for all of you. Let's start. Manhar, I will give you the last. Okay. I want to start with Rushil. I'm not going to make it saying that girls first, boys first, etc. There is no such kind of things. I believe in absolute equality. And now that we have 4 of you here, Rushil, I am going to take you first. You give your quick journey for about a minute. Then we'll go to Shruti, Nidhi, and last Bansal. And then let the questions and answers come in from you. You kind of be, I'm going to only be there adding value to if there is any question that I can add, answer that I can add. Right, Rushil?
Right, sir.
I'm so sorry to disturb you even before you start. There are lots of questions coming on screen chat, guys. You can also see how you can make sure that in your answers, those things are also covered. Fair enough? Rushil.
Right, sir. So I joined CL in 11th grade. So I was there for 2 years. But in my first year, like many other kids, I really didn't study at all. I used to attend all classes and I would give all the mocks that were given to us. But, studying at home, revising or self-studying, that was something I never did until the start of 12th grade. And I think many others would be relating with me here. Because when we join a 2-year course, for the first year, it's more of, let's go with the flow, let it be. So I basically started my core preparation in 12th grade. And I would just say that in totality, I think when people ask questions, then we'll be able to answer for each section. But in totality, I started from a very low score. In 11th grade, my first mock score, I don't remember the exact score, but I remember my percentile. It was somewhere around 47. So all I'm trying to say here is, by telling you this, that if you were in a low percentile bracket, if I can do it, you can do it too. So just hang in there and do your best and you will be there. Probably, hopefully, our juniors. So yes.
Rushil, also a quick, in your 11th and 12th, what is your stream?
So I had commerce with mathematics.
Excellent. Thank you, Rushil. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting and it's your game, but I remember when I wrote my exam called CAT, my first exam was so pathetic. I wanted to give up in life. It's a different issue that later on I went in. Shruti, your brief.
Yes, sir. So I was a one-year classroom student. So I started my preparation in 12th. And initially, actually, I thought of CLAT as a backup option. So I was giving more time to, I would say, class 12. So for the initial few months, I think my proportion would be like 80-20 towards boards, but I was still attending all classes in the initial months and I was giving mocks. Although I don't think I give every single mock, but I did give mocks and I did analyze them and I was focusing on GK. And I think I got more serious about CLAT December, Jan onwards when my boards prep was very manageable. I had done a lot by then. So I started focusing CLAT more on CLAT by then, and also then boards got cancelled. Then it was just CLAT, and I think the main thing that I did was I was like I was sure. I think every one of us here was sure that they have to do GK every single day, and we never missed even a day of GK. So I think that is very important because GK is so vast. And just be disciplined, and just be disciplined, and you'll get there. So you're muted.
Okay. Lovely, Shruti. That's wonderful. GK, everyday consistency. Consistency is a great word. I don't know how many of them even understand it. Anybody who understands it will be at the top. But let me now bring in Nidhi before I bring in Bansal. I think, it's not always that we have a person who has started online. In fact, Nidhi, one of interesting thing is, I want to ask you one question. Did you believe that you will get the All India rank 2 before you started?
Not.
Okay. My question to you, in fact, I'm going to ask that to you also, Bansal, as well as Shruti and Rushil, all of you. One question to you, Nidhi. Before writing the CLAT exam, what do you think you would have been very happy with? What score or what rank? Getting into NLSIU, probably? Or much more?
That was the ideal scenario, to be honest, but I would have been happy with any of the top 5 institutions because there's no difference in the quality of kids who go in these institutions because of the weird ranking system. Like 1 mark doesn't really make a difference in the kind of knowledge you gain throughout these months. So I would have been happy with any of those 5. And if not, I had a lot of backup universities because, of course, CLAT is really weird with how they prepare the papers. So it was all.
When did you start preparing? And again, a brief background of what made you what you are today.
Okay, that's a really wide question. Okay, so I actually started. I did 1 month in September, and that was a pretty hectic month because I gained knowledge from all these random sources, and I was trying to do everything out there, and it didn't really work out. So then the projects of our school for boards were given, and I decided to focus on that and boards. So I studied for 3 to 4 months for boards, and decided that okay, I need to just keep it on the back end now, and I'll start focusing on CLAT again. So January, I started preparing for CLAT really diligently and made sure that I did GK every day. So because I had a huge backlog of GK from all these months that I had missed, it was really hard in the starting 3 months. But I caught up with that. And as Shruti said, it was pretty important that I made sure that I was catching up with the things that were happening day to day, as well as the backlog. So in terms of boards and CLAT, I think I had the privilege of having really amazing teachers and tuition teachers as well, who helped me a lot in catching up with what was actually going on in school, as well as the pre-boards. I actually missed a few of the pre-boards so that I could focus on CLAT. And my teachers made sure that I could be flexible with my schedule while giving these tests. So that made a big impact.
Excellent. And let me now bring in Mr. Manhar. I think a lot of people would love to hear you, Manhar. LSAT, you topped it. I know. By the way, you need to unmute yourself also, Manhar.
Good evening, sir.
I remember, of course, talking to you after your pilot rank. But tell me something, before writing all these exams, what did you think you would be very good at? I mean, what would you have made you happy?
Obviously, Bangalore. I think I didn't want anything less than Bangalore, to be very honest. And these people around me, Rushil and Shruti and Areeb, they didn't want less than AIR 1. Although that is something you can't really, that's not in your control. I don't think you can say that, okay, I want to get AIR 1 and you get it. I think that happens by itself. Like you just have to go with the process. So I think, yeah, my aim was Bangalore, to be honest. regarding my journey, I think I've been saying all of this now for 7, 8 days now, and everyone has been saying, and it's the same thing over and over again. So I think I'll just pick up on two questions, I think, which have come like 7, 8 times now. One is the balance between like the boards and the CLAT thing, that has always remained a question. For me personally, that was never an issue, because I think from very beginning itself, like even from my school days, I did not attend any tuitions. And like my concept was that the school is giving you a schedule, the school is giving you 8 periods, the school is giving you test series, you're going to school for 6 hours. Why do you have to come back and then go to another set of school? I mean, make full use of the school, right? Go to school, talk with teachers, ask your doubts, give every test. So like people would say, "Acha, aaj to oral test hi hai, maine to prepare nahi kiya." But I would say no. An oral test is also a test, and I have to prepare for an oral test also equally well, if not more, than a written test. So I think I carried the same to my 11th and 12th. And as Nidhi said, I have the privilege of being in an amazing school with an amazing set of teachers. So yeah, I think I just kept the school at school. And for class 12th, we had it online. So I attended all the classes. The homework was very limited. Maths, I had to spend a little bit of more time, but I think that was also like, I did not make my own schedule for class 12th. I think I just harmonized it according to the schedule which the school gave us. So if there was a test of maths, I'll prepare for maths. I mean, why do I have to put in my brain in making another schedule and then thinking, okay, this is the school schedule and I have to follow that schedule? So I think that's why it was never an issue for me. And the second question is about hours. How many hours did you put in CLAT? I think that is also a little bit of misguided question in my opinion, because I don't think like you can say, if I put in 4 hours and you put in 2 hours, that 4 hours is somehow more efficient. I think it's about doing tasks. Like you have 5 sections, and after the CLAT has gone over, like when I'm free, my instinct is in my brain, I run this checklist. Okay, English, something is left, math, something is left, and I'm still doing that for these 2 days, and I'm trying now to just leave that. But I think that was my process through my CLAT preparation. Whenever I was free, I would think, okay, I have these 5 sections. What can I do for any of these sections right now? Right? So can I take a mock test? Can I take a section test? Can I attend a class if there's one? So yeah, I think just like have small tasks and don't think too much about this school and CLAT divide. Just keep things separate. And yeah, I think just stick to what works.
One very quick question to all 4 of you. Rushil said that he is commerce with math. Shruti, what about your background?
I was humanities with maths.
Humanities with maths. Nidhi?
Was with maths and legal studies.
Okay, you had maths and legal studies. And Manhar?
Yeah, I had humanities. I also had maths, although I don't like saying this humanities with maths, because I think, why I don't like it? Because it makes it feel like you want to say, oh, I was not such a dull student. I had maths also. No, maths is also allowed as a subject within humanities. And I had 5 subjects in humanities, one of which was maths. So yeah, I had humanities, one of which was maths. But excellent. I don't like this humanities with maths thing, because it makes you feel that the other person who does not have maths is somehow less.
Very true. Very true. One question that is going to be there for all of the students, and I talk in behalf of all the students, is that when you start preparing, you don't know where you're going to end up, point one. And a lot of times there are doubts. What I'm doing, is it good enough? There are anxieties, fears that you will not get through. So I want to ask you guys, it's kind of an open question, and probably all 4 of you can look at how you have dealt with this, saying that there are expectations also from parents, expectation from teachers, expectation from, your friends, maybe even. While all of you wanted to get into AIR 1 or absolutely into NLSIU or the top 5 schools, how did you handle this anxiety? Because that is the going thing. Number of hours, etc. I completely agree with you, Manhar. It depends on how good or what quality time it is. But how did you handle this anxiety?
I'll take that up. So with regards to expectations, you guys have to understand the main thing that your parents might have a lot of expectations, your teacher might have them as well, but at the end of the day, you're the one who has to work, and you will be in the good uni or the best uni of the country, not them. So streamline that as per your expectations and not them, because you should be focusing on yourself rather than people who are expecting of you. And with regards to anxiety, I think I never really tackled anxiety. It will never go. It will always be there. And you will have to just make sure that it doesn't take control of you. So whatever work you do should at the end of the day make you feel that, yeah, today I worked, and if you didn't work hard enough, then learn how to forgive yourself. And that's how your anxiety will go, I think.
Learn to forgive yourself. That's an amazing sentence. Anyone else would like to? Rushil?
Yes, sir. So I would just like to add on to what Nidhi said. Sir, according to me, I mean, of course, CLAT is CLAT is an examination, and Bangalore is the greatest law school in the country, obviously. But sir, I think to my mind, it's just another college. It's not a gold mine. So you have to understand that even if you don't get Bangalore, you have people from every law school doing very well in life. And earlier, when the national law schools were not there, it's only since 1986 that Bangalore was established. Before that, we had great lawyers ranging from Chetalvat to Palkhiwala. They never went to National Law School Bangalore. Were they bad? No. So we have to understand that, of course, the environment, the exposure that NLS gives you or any NLU will give you it's perhaps it's better than compared to traditional law schools. But that doesn't mean that your life is ending. I would just say, whichever, it's what you make of it. You'll have kids at NLS also who won't work hard. You'll have kids at Christ who will work very hard and perhaps even get better placements than us. And I think all of this is, you really, I think we take ourselves too seriously. We should take our work seriously, not ourselves. And that's what I'd like to say, sir.
Excellent.
And if I may add to that, I think instead of having a goal that I have to reach Bangalore or I have to reach Hyderabad, I think instead of having that goal, you should have the goal of being satisfied with yourself. Like you should aim to put in truly your best effort without any excuses. You should aim for your best effort. And wherever that gets you, that's great, because that was your best effort and it got you to where you could get. So instead of focusing too much on one college, and if you don't get that college, you're not good enough, that's not the point. It's just you need to basically put your best foot forward, and at the end be satisfied with your preparation, with your exam, and just be happy with that.
Yeah, if I can.
Manhar.
If I can just add on to
I'll ask you one question before you add it all. I want you to add this. What sacrifices you have made? Arjun is asking. While all these guys have said, I want to really specific on what kind of things you gave up to win this battle? Manhar.
Yeah, okay. So I think I'll do the earlier question first. So I think adding to what Shruti said, I don't think it's any use having abstract goals. I mean, even giving your best is sort of an abstract goal, because how do you know you're giving your best? So I think what I can share is how I handled my stress. Like I followed 2-3 things throughout the year, which really helped me. So I think one of the things I also talked about in my interview is like keeping a journal. And by keeping a journal, I don't mean like you need to have a leather bound copy. I just had my phone. So every day, before sleeping, I would just write what I did during the day for CLAT. Because, that was giving me a lot of stress because there's no syllabus in CLAT. So sometimes you start feeling that you haven't done anything at the end of the day. And then that gives you a lot of stress and you feel guilty also that you haven't done anything. So what I would do is I would just list down the things I did. So for example, if I attended a class, I would write 1, attended a class, 2nd, gave a mock test, 3rd, analyzed a previous mock test. So that would give me satisfaction that, okay, these are the 5 things I've did. And this would also give me motivation. So on some days, I would have only 2 items on my list. And then I would see that, no, Manhar, you can't keep doing this. You had 24 hours and you did only 2 things. So tomorrow, let's try to do, let's say, 5 things. So I think that's one thing. Second thing is also keeping and cultivating your hobbies. And I think this connects to the sacrifice question. I think even though it may be politically correct to say I made a lot of sacrifices, I really don't think I made any. I mean, at least I can't think of any. So as far as social media is concerned, I was never on social media. I was never fascinated by social media. I just had WhatsApp and Telegram, and I kept in touch with all my friends. Other than that, like I kept reading novels. So I don't know if that's a luxury. I mean, that was a hobby and that helped me, sail through the stress. So I kept reading. I started writing. I had been writing. I started writing more consistently. So I think keeping a journal and cultivating your hobbies. Not making your entire life about CLAT. I think those are the 2 things which help you sail through the stress, which is very natural.
I think Manhar has already answered one of the points which Arjun has asked over there. So his question was, please ask the toppers, how did they leverage the extra time they had because of the pandemic? So I'm sure Manhar has already stated that we had only 24 hours. Everybody has only 24 hours. I don't think there was something called extra time or they had to leverage something extra. But if you want to share, anybody, if you want to share that, if probably he might be saying that you saved those time going to the classes actually. So those traveling time was saved. So how did you utilize? Did you had anything like that on mind? Probably that would be the right question, I believe, which Arjun is asking. Any one of you can choose that.
So, yeah, Shruti, you take it up. Continue.
I was saying that I don't think any of us really looked at it that way, that we have 2 hours extra, we can do something in those 2 hours. It was just a day and we have to do this in a day. So I don't think any of us really focused on, oh, we have to utilize this extra time. It was just a luxury for everyone, right? It's not like we specifically are getting those 2 hours. Everyone is. So I don't think I have an answer for this because I didn't focus that I have to do something here. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. I mean, we had been so used to the entire curriculum that had been set before the pandemic set in and after the pandemic set in. So we got so used to just online classes all the time and not traveling and just laying in our beds and watching the classes that we didn't really utilize those extras. I think if I would say utilize those extras and taking care of yourself, and just, if you're on social media, somebody asked here that I am finding it difficult to give up social media. You don't have to give it up. So the main difficulty I think teenagers find is how to moderate using anything, utilizing these things. So just make sure that you do not exceed a certain time limit that you set for yourself for using a particular app. Let's say you're using Instagram or WhatsApp or Facebook. Do not use it 4 hours a day, because that is bad. That is really bad. Okay, it's abhorrent. So just make sure that you are using it for 30 minutes a day and you're catching up with everything, because for some people, detaching yourself from that platform might lead to a lot of mental health issues. So please do not do that. And the extra time that you get, let's say you get 2 hours, watch OTT platforms, anything on OTT platforms, Netflix. I mean, of course, I come from a place of privilege when I say this, but there's a lot of material available there. You can watch any movies on law, and that will help you understand. Maybe you actually don't like the stream. Maybe you do like it. Maybe you like litigation. Maybe you like corporate law. I mean, it is obviously a very distorted view of how law is in these platforms, but it will teach you a lot of things and enjoyment at the same time. So that could be done.
Okay, I think this you might have also thought of when you started your preparation, because this is one area which everybody actually has some issues or some problems actually, and quite a lot of questions are coming on that section. So I think it's high time we pick up that. How did you prepare for GK? It's so vast actually. So what was your plan of action? How did you go about it actually? What were the resources you followed? So you can go ahead, pick it one by one, and you can share your thoughts, your preparation journey about GK in particular, because we all understand that is definitely a pain area.
So here I think I can go first, because all of these they studied in groups. I did GK alone. So I just made sure that, as I said before, every single day I have to do GK, and I had a fixed starting time for it. So like I knew that every day after breakfast I will do GK. And what doing GK really meant was I used to cover a lot of sources. So of course, CL gives a lot of sources. It has the daily news, it has the monthants. So the monthants I didn't do separately, I did for the classes. So every week we had the master strokes. So for that, I used to go through the monthants. And when I'm studying every day, I used to go to the daily news, and I used to cover some other sources. So on YouTube, basically, I would search for some daily GK and I would watch a few videos, because I think that helped my retention. Like hearing it also makes it a little easier to retain. And of course, I made notes, and I also made flashcards, which I believe Manhal will tell you more about. So that was that was pretty much all I did, and I just did it consistently. And you'll see your scores improving in mocks, because my GK was horrible, and my percentile used to be like 40, 50 barely, and like slowly the percentile starts increasing, and that gives you more of a motivating push. And I know that it's very hard to like start GK because it's just so vast that you don't know where to start, but just start. Because once you do, then you'll develop a base and it'll become easier and you'll actually start having fun.
Yeah, so I was a really bad procrastinator, so it was really tough for me to do GK. So I really don't think there can be any perfect way to do GK, because everybody has their own way to do it, and you will definitely find your own way to do it, because even if we tell you what we did, it definitely will not be the perfect way. So what I would suggest is that newspapers are mandatory. You have to do them. You cannot skip on them at all. So refer to your newspapers, and if you do that without skipping, not like me, I used to procrastinate that a lot as well. So just pick up the most important topics of the day, and if you think they are good enough, then research on them more, and that will pave the way for how you have to go about it. And regarding months, I think a lot of people think that months have to be done for A-Let only, but if you see this year's paper, somebody who did the months actually got a really good score. So do not skip months; they are a really good source. And you don't really have to do, like Shruti was pretty good with, she did it every week, but I did 4 to 5 months together. So you could also do that if you have the strength to. So just make short notes. Do not go back to the PDF again and again, because that is not going to help you at all. At the end of, let's say, when you have 10 days left to CLAT, you will have to revise those short notes only. So make really short notes of all the PDFs that you read, and do not make notes of anything you cannot revise, because that's just stupidity.
Manhar, your idea of flashcards, which Shruti was mentioning?
Yes, sir. I'll get to that. So I think before I start, I think I agree with Nidhi on this 100%, that note taking is a slightly overrated. And it doesn't. I think Rushil made all the notes. So yeah, Rushil. So I think before that, a general disclaimer. Like someone was saying, is study buddy necessary? I think nothing is necessary. Like Shruti did not have a study buddy for GK, and she still got AIR 10. So and like Jiju sir also said, we make a lot of hindsight causations, right? Maybe some of the things we are saying today, maybe they did not contribute to our rank. We're just telling what we did. Maybe they helped, maybe they don't. We don't know, and no one knows. So yeah, starting with that, and so how I did my GK, I think I would divide it into 3 components. But these 3 components were not very clear from the day one. They slowly evolved and developed. As you go through a CLAT prep, a lot of things start falling into place. And you realize that, okay, this is a thing I've been doing unnecessarily. Let's just discard this. This is the thing which is helping me. Let's intensify this. So that is, I think, a gradual process. So one was daily GK, what I called my daily GK. What I did was, in aspiration, every day the daily GK comes. And I realized that the Manthan is nothing but the compilation of the daily GK only. So I thought that for me, it was difficult to go through a 30 to 40 page PDF, of a week. So I thought, instead of doing the Manthans, why don't I just do the foundation of the Manthan, right? So I just did my daily GK. I rarely did Manthans, but doing daily GK obviously made it doing Manthans only. So whenever we had master strokes, Rushil would read the entire 30-40 page PDF of that week, but I would just read the 7 pages notes of that week, and we would be able to answer the same amount of questions. So I think that was helpful, as Nidhi said, converting the Manthan or whatever you have into something more compact and something more revisable. So that was my daily GK. Second was newspaper. So newspaper, as Nidhi said, I tried to read almost every day, not as consistent as Rushil. Rushil would start highlighting things and marking things. I never did that. And I think newspaper did not directly help me in GK, so to say. So I don't know whether something came from the newspaper, but I think as a healthy practice, as a general practice, it is beneficial, right? You get aware. So people ask, people have been mailing me, there are so many events. How do I see which are important events? So I think newspaper guides you in that. If some event has been cropping up in the editorials, you sense that it is important. If something is on the front page, you sense that it is important. So it gives you that understanding, and also it helps you like in general reading and all. So second component was reading newspaper. And I think there are a lot of open resources on the internet, and I really like one resource. And my third component, which I started a little late, let's say in November, December, maybe with Rushil and Arif, that was called the event GK, which what we thought CLAT would test. Event GK was essentially, so I had 2 sets of notes, which I talked about, the daily GK and the Hindu GK. Event GK. So event GK, what we did was, from those notes, we took out the important events of every month and we made our own list. We did not take lists from here and there, right? We had our own list called events GK. And from that list, we would divide the events amongst ourselves, Rushil, Areeb, and I. And every day we would say that, okay, we have to research this event. And then we would ask questions from each other on that event. And most of the times, the person who had researched, only he knew the answers. The others were like, we don't know, we don't know, we don't know. So that time, what we did was Rushil made notes. Areeb and I added those to our flashcards. So event GK is what event GK is? Taking an event and analyzing it as much as possible. Go to Wikipedia, one to UPSC websites, YouTube video, you know, all whatever sources you can get. And one thing I've realized, which I think we missed, don't miss the obvious. So what do I mean by that? Sometimes what we do is we start looking into too much detail and we miss the obvious. So I'll give an example. For example, the 1971 Bangladesh war. We had done that as an event. Rushil, we had done that as an event. However, we did not look at the Wikipedia page of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, which was in hindsight very obvious to do, right? He was the founding father. And after the CLAT, I typed Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. And if you see the wiki summary, right, the box they give at the right side, those of you have been, they give a box, and all 3 questions in the CLAT paper could be answered just from that one box. So I think this is a lesson I've learned by failing, that don't miss the obvious. Before going to the detail, just look at Wikipedia page, just see the obvious things. That is one. Now, how flashcards work. So basically, the deficiency in notes is you write a lot of things, and when you revise them, you think, acha, ye to I know. Oh, the Sheikh Mujibur Rahman died in August 1970. Very good. Let's move on. You know, we have this false illusion that we know things, and then when it is tested, we don't know anything. So that is because notes are not a very good tool for memory. And my brother told me this because he keeps seeing videos of cognitive psychology, etc., etc. So evidence shows that 2 most important tools for memorizing anything is active recall and spaced repetition. Active recall means, you know, when we have oral tests in classrooms, why are oral tests so nice? You know, I remember when I was in 10th, ICSE history is very, very rigorous. And our section always used to do well, because our teacher used to take oral tests. So what happens in an oral test? The teacher asks you a question and you try to recall the answer, right? So you activate your brain. But in notes, what you do is you just read the notes. You're not recalling anything. There's no mental exercise involved. So it's very important. And that's why master strokes are such a good tool, because master strokes also actually is a method of active recall. You've learned something, sir is asking you, and you wish to recall it to have your name called out, right? So active recall and spaced repetition means you do a thing on day 1, you do it after 3 days, you do it after 7 days, then you do it after a gap of 30 days. But this is easier said than done. You cannot do this with notes. I mean, I don't want to say that I'm the most disciplined person. There are more disciplined persons, but I think I am enough disciplined, and even I can't do that, you know, having a schedule. So what flashcards do is you can just put in your question and answers in the flashcard app, and they will combine both of those things. There will be an element of active recall, because it will ask you a question, you will try to recall the answer, and you will say yes or no. That is active recall. And it will have spaced repetition, because you have to do it every day, and it will repeat the questions. The algorithm will repeat the questions according to your retaining capacity. So that is how you can go about it. And I think in hindsight, even like the daily GK notes, which I made in the notebook, I think even that I could have transferred to Anki, to the flashcards app, and just done away with the notes altogether. But yeah, you can see what works for you.
Okay, I have to say something here, because I think in the last 20 minutes, we talked too much about GK. There are 4 other sections in the paper. While I understand that GK is important and every day that needs to be done, somewhere I don't think any one of you should forget, all the students who are writing CLAT or IELTS or any other exam, that there is a lot more to an exam like this than GK. Second, like Nidhi said, or Shruti said, or Manhar very beautifully explained how to remember things. Couple of things which are, as a teacher, I'm telling you, friends, there is no one right way of doing things. All the 4 toppers here that we can see have said that and reiterated that. Nidhi has overcome her procrastination. Shruti did it every day on a regular basis, consistency. Manhar figured out thanks to various sources. But something which is very correct about what Rushil also said, that there is, first, don't put too much of pressure on yourself. You do it on a regular basis, you will reach your goals. But one other interesting thing that I'm going to say before I kind of give it once again to our wonderful toppers is that, friends, don't look for a magic wand if you want to succeed. There is no magic wand in this world. You will have to put in effort. Like, you feel how much passionate about are you to kind of succeed. I'm not saying, see, there is a difference between passion and desperation. When you're desperate to win, you are finding out easier ways to win. Never you will get there. But if you're passionate to win, it doesn't matter whether you win or not. Like, for example, if you have looked at Neeraj Chopra, and frankly, Manhar, I was also looking at what he was doing. I don't know how many, when he was, the first throw and the second throw, there was a quiet confidence he had. The third and the fourth and the fifth, he had a foul. If you remember, the third was only 76 and the fourth and the fifth was a foul. But the point is, he was not bothered about. He went there to win. Full stop. People win. Sometimes you lose. Don't worry about it. You will reach your absolutely at the top levels. Now, one question which all of you have not answered, and in fact, there's a very interesting question which come in, is how important is vocabulary in this entire journey of CLAT, IELTS, and others? Anyone would like to pick it up?
Before we go on to this question, sir, I think I'll have to say this, sir. So I disagree with Manhar when he says notes notes are not really important, and which is fine, because as you said, there is no magic wand which can help you. Everybody has different things which help them. So I would just like to share what I did before we can, if that's fine.
Sure. Please. In fact, I exactly say this. Somebody says notes is not good. Somebody will say notes is good. Somebody will say you start with a GK section in your CLAT exam. Somebody will say you start with legal exam. There is no right way. You will have to find out your right way. Rushil, I would like to know your way of preparing too.
Right. So I basically, as Manhar said, he divided it into three things. I had basically two things. One was the one-liner GK. And the reason why I didn't necessarily follow daily aspiration GK, which we get in our portal, and instead of that, I followed Manthan's, is because I never really, read those static GK books. You have so many books that people I don't know. I remember one named Lucent or something. Then we have even I just can't retain things that way. If you've been given a list of places, hottest place, coldest place, I can't remember it that way. But what happens in Manthan is you have a historical background of any major event at the box below the main news. So, for example, if you have, let's say, some news about Bangladesh, they'll give you a whole historical background about which operation did India carry out, which operation did Pakistan carry out, who's the first president, who's the first who's the first prime minister, and so on. So I think that way something, if you do Manthan religiously, it helps you with your static GK also, because I never read any static GK books ever, because I couldn't remember it that way. So that is something I did for AILET basically. And as for my events, as Manhar said, we had a common document. That was my main source. Apart from that, newspapers. Sir, I would say people read newspapers only because they want to crack an examination. I think that is the most useless approach that you can have. Newspapers are something Sir, I can't hear you, sir. You were on mute.
Thank you so much for saying that. And I would like you to repeat it again.
Yes, sir. So I even now, even when CLAT is over, rather I bought another newspaper. I was already reading two. I got a third one now. Simply because once you start reading onto what is happening in the world, you really get into it. There are some news which whenever I read, even though now, thanks to CLAT, I have a more, comprehensive perspective. But I think newspapers are something you should even read if you are not giving any competitive examination. It's basic GK, which is happening all around us. And some people say, why am I supposed to know what is happening in Afghanistan? I'm just saying, we're wasting so much time in our day, rather learn something new. And what I did was, personally, I read newspapers every day. I mean, there would not be one day where I would have not read my newspapers. And in newspapers, on the first page, on the front page, or on the international affairs page, you will always find events that are recurring again and again and again and again. For example, all the events that were tested even in a CLAT. I mean, it's a nice argument that people put, the GK was not the level that they should test. But I would say, firstly, it's the same for everybody. So that is not really any factor here for your college admission. And secondly, so there was some question which if you read newspapers religiously, you would have imbibed in your head. For example, I saw many people cribbing about the date for the Galwan Valley clash. So there was an editorial in the Hindu, which was around 15 days prior to the examination, or 20 days, because the first anniversary of the Galwan Valley clash was there. And I think it was the exact same passage that they gave, if I'm not wrong, subject to correction. So I think if you read newspapers every day, you will find recurring news again and again and again and again, which obviously you can discuss with your peers, as Manhar, Arib, and I did. So I would say, since you asked, building on your question, vocabulary question, newspapers will also help you build vocabulary. If you're reading any good national daily, made with the Times of India, Hindustan Times, Indian Express, Hindu, Mint, they'll all have editorials from people who are at the stalwarts of their profession. And they will often use vocabulary. I used to do this with Manhar, and he used to laugh at me, I remember. So whenever I did editorials, I used to have a highlighter with me, and there would often be words that I did not know. On an average, every day I would find at least 8 to 10 words that I had no clue existed. And if you are reading words in a context, I personally think, again, you can buy those vocabulary books, but they won't help you, because how much can you memorize? If you're reading them in a context, they automatically help you. And often I used to send some words to Manhar which I had a doubt about. As in, there are some words which have 2-3 meanings, which can be used as a noun and a verb, and so on. So that is my perspective on it.
Shruti and Nidhi, would you like to add?
I completely spaced out. I was answering those questions.
In fact, I've been observing for some time. Nidhi has been answering most of the questions which are coming on the chat box, and people have also they are really thanking her. But I'm sure, Nidhi, you are enjoying it. They have given you a new name, Nidhi Topper D. So we have
one question I have, Amitendra, which I want to ask Nidhi. Probably all 4 of them, but because she has used this word that she used to procrastinate, and a couple of students asked this question: how do you overcome procrastination? I could have given an answer, but I just want to understand, Nidhi, what did you do?
I mean, there actually comes a time when you realize that the time that you have might not be enough, because people are already so ahead of you. I mean, I had so much anxiety with regards to so many people who were prepping around me. I would look at them and I would see that these people have been prepping for 2 years and I just started. How will I make it? So yeah, that's when you realize that you have to give all the worldly pleasures and you have to start prepping right now. So that is the key to procrastinate, getting away from the whole area of procrastination. You have to focus on actually getting the universities, and you have to stop looking at your social media at times.
In fact, everybody is now asking about math. What did you do for math? Shruti, you would like to start?
Yes, sir. So maths was actually one of my strong sections. So I didn't really prepare for it alag se zyada, like the CL workbook that we were given. So I did a few chapters from that, but yeah, I didn't even complete that entire book. And because I thought that my marks were enough for that, because in mocks I was scoring relatively good. Although in the final exam, I must say I did not do very well in maths, because they did not admit that their questions were wrong. But yeah, like in the final exam, you can't help it if something like that happens. There will be incorrect questions sometimes. So all you can do is just not waste time on it. Just be open to the possibility that there might be a mistake. So just don't waste too much time on it. And yeah, I feel like for me, mocks sufficed, but I don't know, honestly. So maybe someone else could answer.
Yeah, so maths was I was really scared of maths from when I was really young, and it just kind of developed into CLAT as well. So I think, of course, mocks help a lot, but at the same time, if you think that you're really weak and you need to prepare a little bit more, so you can just see a bit of tricks that are there for every let's say every chapter that there is. For percentages, you can refer to how a certain percentage can be converted into fractional form or something like that, and that would take less than a day for all the topics that there are out there. And other than that, I think any material that you refer to, if you're not going for any coaching, you can just refer to online material. If you're going for CL coaching, they have this amazing data interpretation book which you can refer to, and just practice that on a daily basis and you're set. What I would say to people who are actually scared of maths, take it day by day rather than thinking that you would become amazing at it in just a week. So just start today and it will be okay.
Rushil, would you like to add?
Sir, I think I am the last person who should answer this question, because, sir, my maths, my basics were weak and I was pathetic at it. There is no two ways about it.
All the more reason why you should be the best person to answer this.
So I am guilty of this too, that in 11th grade, even in 12th grade, both the years, I mean, I as an CLAT aspirant, I always thought, maths is not going to help me in any way. It's just 15 marks. It's not going to help me. I'll do GK, I'll do English, I'll be fine. So, and I am also guilty of not doing it till the final paper, and nor did I do maths properly in the paper. So out of 15, I think all of these guys must have gotten at least a 10 or a 9. I, on the other hand, got a 4.75. So I attempted 6 questions, and the questions were not difficult. Please, you can go and see the paper. And there might be some questions which were wrong, but in totality, the questions were not difficult. So I got 5 correct and 1 wrong even in the final paper. So I would say, please do not follow my example. I regret it. It was just you can say happenstance that the GK, I did very well in GK. I think I scored 27. So the GK was something which saved me. Because many people found GK tough while they attempted maths. So it was in one sense something that balanced my score. But I would say that was luck. Please do not do this. And I remember Manhar, you always used to tell me, do math. It doesn't take time. It's easy. But again, I am guilty of not doing math till the last date. So I think Manhar will be able to answer how to do maths.
I think people, I don't really understand why people don't do maths. I think it is so foolish and it's such a lost opportunity. And yes,
डर है बंसल, डर है थोड़ा सा.
So I'm coming to that. I think maths, even I after doing 10th, I did not want to do maths. I thought I'm doing this for the last time. I'll be always free from maths. But I had a person, when I had to make a choice of subjects, who told me that no, 11th, 12th ki maths, so everyone should study. So I said, chalo, le lete. And I struggled a lot with integration and everything. And Shruti helped me with that. But I think as far as CLAT is concerned, right? I think the maths is like, you just have to do plus, minus, and you just have to read. I mean, I don't think there's any maths in that. Yeah, okay. There are some concepts like time and work. There are some concepts like, let's say, geometry, basic geometry. You should know what a 90-degree angle is. So most of those things are taught till 10th. But even if you have lost touch with them, I think there are classes and there are very, very basic concepts. So for example, I remember one particular class which Abhishek sir took for time and work, which completely changed the way I looked at it. So I always used to assume the total work as 1 and then 1 upon 15 and all that stuff. But then he told me that, why not assume work and let's find everyone's efficiencies. And after that, time and work became so simple for me that anytime someone asked me, how to do time and work, I used to say that there is only one formula. I mean, for most of the topics, I think Rushil used to get annoyed with this. For most of the topics in CLAT, there only one formula. He would ask me how to do this topic. I would say, this one formula is there, but you only have to practice. And he would say, no, sir, this formula is sabhi kuch nahi aa raha hai. But that is what practice. As far as CLAT maths is concerned, I agree with Shruti. I think I was always good at it in terms of CLAT maths. I always scored a 15 on 15 in maths in mocks. Because I got time because of my reading speed. I gave it 20 minutes. I did not. I think a lot of people say give 12 to 15 minutes on maths. I don't understand that also. I mean, if you think you can get a good score, why not give it 20? I mean, because it's 15 marks and others are not doing it, why do you also have to spend 10 to 12 minutes? I used to take my 20 minutes because when I try to be quick, I make mistakes. I took it slow. I used to write 2 plus 2 also in the beginning on my paper because if I start using a lot of shortcuts, I get panicked. So just go by first principle. Don't use a lot of shortcuts. See which ones work for you. If you practice with them, they become your second nature. And I think mocks are, I think, a great way to do maths. But if you're weak with some concepts, then maybe go back to the concepts. And just 2-3 things more, which were discussed earlier. So I think one thing, as I said, there are different methods. And I was one of the people who cribbed a little bit about the Galwan question. But see, Rushil proved me wrong, right? If I would have studied the newspaper as diligently as Rushil, I would have got that answer right as well. So that just shows how there is no one single way to get it right. And as far as vocabulary is concerned, I think 2 things. First is general reading, right? There is no substitute to general reading. Read novels, read non-fiction. In Rushil's case, read autobiographies. Keep reading, read newspapers, etc. Second thing is, if you want to work with words, right? So I also had this thing that, you can't really memorize words from a vocabulary book. And I still agree with that. But I think here also I used flashcards in the beginning, not afterwards I left it, but in the beginning, because for ALET, what I did was I added a lot of these words, these tough words, which I did not know. to the flashcard app, and maybe that helped me. But yes, there is no substitute to general reading. You can't cram vocabulary. And yes, vocabulary does play a very, very important role. Not in terms of, they won't ask you iska synonym kya hai. But if you know words, then only you'll be able to make sense of what the passage is saying, right? Otherwise, you'll get lost. So yes, I think vocabulary is an important thing.
To add to that, I would just say that you don't really have to refer to a book, as Manhar said. You could just make a game out of it. There are so many websites out there that actually give you these MCQs, and you have to select an option to site1vocabulary.com. You could just refer to that and use that and play a game. Why just take a break and learn vocab like that? You don't really have to mug it up, because that is definitely. I tried to mug up I keep thinking about GK. GK is just always in my mind now. Yeah, so I tried to mug up vocabulary from Word Power Made Easy. It didn't help. I don't remember any word in there. And vocabulary.com does help a lot. So you could refer to that.
One question that is coming up, and maybe an interesting question too. The CLAT exam and the IELTS exam are not exactly the same. The areas are exactly the same, but the mocks, even the types of questions which come in, are different. Did you guys do anything differently, or is it the same preparation?
I would say I did prepare for AILET. I ended up not giving it. So as Manhar said, there are some concepts that would not appear in an exam like CLAT, like time and work, etc., which you would have to go through. And you have to prepare them for AILET. And for GK, of course, one-liners. And but you have to remember this, that whatever you prepare for AILET at the end will actually come of help in CLAT as well. So do not think of them as separate exams, but rather just prepare for them both at the same time, devoting 2 to 3 hours for AILET separately, so that it will help you in CLAT as well.
Yeah, so I think how I look at it is that there are some basic skills which help you in both, right? Whether it's reading comprehension, whether it's critical reasoning, whether it's basic mathematics, whether it's one-liner GK. Because remember, you have to do one-liner GK for CLAT also, especially after CLAT 2021. So you can't just think that, okay, I'm doing event GK for CLAT and I'm doing one-liner GK for AILET. It doesn't work that way. Yes, AILET won't ask a lot of event GK, but you can make one-liner questions out of event GK also. So like, as Kandharp sir always said, GK is GK. I mean, you don't have to make a very rigid separation. So yeah, there are some basic concepts, but I do agree that after the changed CLAT pattern, there are a number of things which are different and you have to work on them. So how I would say is, so let's start with English, right? So English reading comprehension is there in both, vocabulary is there in both. So grammar, right? Grammar is more dominant in AILET. So what you can do for grammar, you should be very clear with your basic concepts. Now, I always loved grammar. Grammar was one of my favorite subjects. And again, Rushil is smiling. So I think for me, grammar was not so much of a struggle because I knew the basic concepts. And I think maybe solving a workbook on this typical grammar questions which come in AILET, like correct errors, close test, etc. That may help, although I didn't do that. I found a book of 10th standard 10 days before the paper. I thought I'll do it, but I didn't. So you can do that. But I think having a good basic grammar book helps. So purchase Wren & Martin. If you're really not okay with your basic concept, just go through it. I was good at grammar. I believe I was good at grammar, yet I did go through Wren & Martin once again. So basic grammar. So that's what English. GK, as I told, one-liners, that's it. One-liners, you have your Manthan. You can probably supplement it with one more open source. So what I did was master strokes and Manthans was my primary thing for one-liner GK. But when in our group, when we revised the one-liners once again, I found an open source and I used to just see if some things by chance missed by Manthan and cover that. That's GK. Math, I think past year papers of both CLAT and AILET. Previous year, past year's papers of CLAT, because they have the same pattern, right? So for maths, that is, I think, a brilliant way because there are only 10 questions, the same pattern of questions. So CLAT and AILET past year papers for math. Then what do we have? Logic. Logical critical reasoning is covered in CLAT also. So you have analytical reasoning, and analytical reasoning, they're just practice. So just practice, take mocks, attend classes. If you're having a trouble with the concept, go to YouTube, search about it, analytical reasoning. Legal aptitude is, you could say, similar to CLAT, but because it is a little bit more legal knowledge intensive. So like, I think that works for CLAT also, like just read live law, attend classes, just keep reading on law. and do past year papers again. Now, one thing which we did quite intensively for legal, but which did not help in the paper. I think there are a lot of things which we did, but which did not help in the paper. But I still don't regret doing that, right? Because you can't prepare for a bad paper. I mean, people have been saying, oh, CLAT 2021 was so different. Now everything will change, everything will change. I don't think much will change. I mean, you can make 2 or 3 tweaks, but the pattern remains the same. You still have to prepare your best and let's see how the paper comes. So if you observe, ALET 2019, 2018, 2017, they had been asking a lot of questions on legislations, on laws. And those would not be direct questions as to, you know, which of the following is not one of the laws passed by the parliament regarding to farmers bill, although that was one of the ALET questions. But they ask more detailed questions, like, so they would say, given below are 4 statements, and then they would give 4 statements regarding that law, and they would say, choose the correct ones. Now we realized, Arib and I did a session, we visited all the past year papers, we did a tally mark, we thought, let's see what they're asking. So we observed that they're asking at least 5 questions on legislations, they're asking 2-3 questions on Supreme Court judgments, they're asking 2-3 questions on High Court judgments, and they're asking 3-4 questions on international legal developments. So all of those things, Supreme Court judgments, international legal developments, those get covered by and large through GK only. But this legislations thing, you have to work. So what we did was, we made a list again in our events document only. We made a list of all the important laws passed by the parliament in the last 6 months. So we had, I think, I can't remember, I think a winter session was cancelled. I don't know. So the last 2-3 parliament sessions, whatever laws were passed, we made a list of the important laws. And then we did specific research on those laws from a legal point of view. So we did not see the GK facts, which minister introduced it, all of those things we did not see. We went to PRS, which is the official, I think it's not official, but it's very close to official, full form, I don't remember the full form. So PRS legislative research, where they give you detailed analysis of the bill, what are the provisions of the bill, etc. So we again divided those laws and we did those laws. And I think had ALET asked those legislation questions, I am a little bit proud to say that we would have done well, because we really did go into depth of all those legislations from a bill point of view. Arif did not do that, and luckily for him, they didn't even ask it. But yes, I think that was one thing, the things I did extra for ALET.
One last question for all of you again, maybe Shruti, you can start, is the legal this thing. While Manhar has given a clear idea of how he did it, maybe 3 of you also could quickly throw some light.
Yeah, so for legal, I don't think I focused on ALET legal GK as much as I should have, but ultimately it didn't come in the paper, so I got lucky with that. But for CLAT, basically, I was, again, only mocks, right? And mocks and previous year papers, because there was a difference in the, I would say, like last year, the questions on legal were highly conceptual. They were not like this section has this section has this. So I think going through previous year papers is very important, because you never know, they might switch it up a little, they may go back to a year, something like that. So I think previous year papers and mocks are primarily what I did for legal, for the legal section. And yeah, I think some of it is also based on luck, because the paper did come out to be, having passages which had section this. So it was very different from last year, if you look at it that way. So it is a little bit of luck, but yes, that is what I had done.
Finally, I was just hoping that somebody would definitely ask these questions while you guys have been taking it all across. So you did mention about mocks. Right now you mentioned about mocks. One of the questions which has just come now, actually, and I think they would want to hear it from you. More often we have talked about it, or do a lot of session on that. How often you should be writing the mocks? That's what the question is. Now, I'll give a little bit of hint here, because I was going through all the data. I looked at all these guys' information out there. I still remember, because his name was first in my list, actually, because of the rank flow. So I remember Manhar took all the 40 CLAT mocks, actually. And most of the, I think nobody was less than 25, 30 mocks of all the, you are part of the 2 years program. But I think you would be the right guys to answer this question, how often you should be taking the mocks and how important are they actually? I think that would rest the case as far as the mocks are concerned for the students.
I would just say that stick with the schedule that CL gives you, because that should be good enough. If you cannot, then just take the mocks as per your own convenience. You don't really have to prepare for mocks per se, but if you do actually prepare for mocks, then there's this kind of anticipation that builds up and it makes you a bit nervous, which would be the same amount of nervous you would be during the real exam. So you could prepare for mocks, prepare the GK that has already been done in the past few months, and stick to the schedule.
Just in something that Nidhi said, I don't think you ever actually prepare for mocks because mocks are your preparation. Like, I think that is the most important part of your preparation. So you should never look at it as Nidhi said, that you should not look at it as, oh, I have a mock, I need to prepare. You're preparing. The mock is your preparation, and it is the closest thing that you'll get to your actual paper. So treat it as your preparation. There is no need to be anxious. It's just a mock. It's your preparation. Why are you anxious to prepare?
If I can, like, there are two. So I think the first thing is how important are mocks. I think I'll just say this. If you don't attend classes, if you don't solve any practice workbooks, if you don't do anything, and if you just take mocks, you still have a good chance to making it to top 3. I mean, I don't think I can say any more than that for mocks, right? That is how important mocks are, because there is no syllabus in CLAT, right? I mean, I still get very confused when people say, I haven't covered the syllabus, so I'm not giving a mock. I mean, what are you doing then? Because English has no syllabus, legal has no syllabus, maths has no syllabus, this logical has no syllabus. The only syllabus there is that is GK, and GK is a continuous process. The mock doesn't tell you that we are going to test GK of January, so okay, memorize the notes of January and come, right? It is a continuous process. So that is how important mocks are. And as to how many mocks one should give, I think I agree with Nidhi. I never thought, okay, I have to give 10 mocks, right? As I said, even with my school, the coaching or the test series which you have taken, they're giving you a schedule. Why do you have to make your own schedule? I mean, I don't get it. If they are telling you the next mock is on 10th, you give it on 10th. The next mock is on 13th, you give it on 13th. As simple as that. So yeah, I mean, just stick to the schedule which is given to you and take all mocks. And yes, analyze mocks. And I would like to speak on 2 minutes on this analysis part, because even I, because honestly, because the new pattern favored me, whether it's luck or whatever, I did not start off from a very bad position. Even in my very few initial mocks, I always scored above 100. So I had very few mistakes, right? And I always used to ask Kushal ki main analysis karun kya? Matlab, what is this analysis? I think I sent mails to Ark sir, to everyone, Jesus sir and everyone, that what is this analysis, right? Because I had very few mistakes, and people say I spent 4 hours on analysis. My analysis would get over in 30 minutes. So what is this analysis? I think analysis is a fancy word and people get confused with it. What you have to do is just see that this is the mistake you made. This question you got wrong. Just read that passage again. Try to do that question again without looking at the answer. If you come at the right answer, you know why you made the wrong mistake. If you still disagree with it, take a doubt session, sit with a friend, debate why you still think that is the correct answer and why it is not the correct answer. So one is just identifying your mistakes. And second is drawing general learnings from it. So by the end of my preparation, I had made a document on English and critical reasoning. And what I would do is, out of my doubt sessions and out of my mocks, I would write down general learnings. That, for example, one I remember, one mistake which I commonly did was in main idea questions. In main idea questions, a teacher told me that you should look it at the reverse way. So think that the option is given to you and what would you write on that option, rather than thinking that the passage is given to you and what would be the title. And I did that 2-3 times and it really worked well for me. So then I wrote it that this is a general learning. In main idea questions, do reverse engineering. Second learning, whatever learnings you have. So that is what analysis is. The second type of analysis you can do, which I didn't do a lot because I was able to complete my paper well within time. But if you're running short of time, just see how much time you gave to each section and was it worth it? And maybe you can switch around something, maybe you can experiment a little bit. So those are the 2 types of quote unquote analysis you have to do on mocks. And yes, please don't wait for any syllabus to get over. It is not going to get over.
That is a very important statement you have made, Mandhar. Please do not wait for syllabus to get over. Please write your mocks. And I will quote what Nidhi and Shruti and all of you have said. Write when we give you the mocks. I'm very, very insistent on that. We understand. I'm not saying that we are invincible, but it is important for you to understand that all of you who are sitting here, when the mock date is announced and the date of the mock is announced, just make sure that you go and write it. There's nothing like preparing for mock. That's a part of your preparation itself. Very, very correctly said. Amitendra.
In fact, adding to that point, in fact, so what I was about to say, that I hope now some sense will prevail. So where you and I have been telling a lot of times that there is no syllabus in law entrances actually. So look at CLAT, look at IELTS, or for that matter, any other entrances, you are not looking at any syllabus. So what are you waiting for? So people have this argument all over. Let me complete my syllabus first and then I'll start writing the mocks. I hope now with these guys and especially Manhar talking about that there's no syllabus. He has, I think, covered this almost 3-4 times. I hope some sense prevails and we'll have a lot of test takers from this week onwards actually. So they'll not wait for it actually, or they'll not wait for syllabus or something like that.
Sir, I'll just like to add on to what Manhar said. So the analysis part, this was something that even again, I'm guilty of not doing. So what I used to do in the beginning was I used to give my mock, and if my percentile was above 90, I would always think, just let it be. Agle mock mein dekh lenge, and how will it help me? But this is again something that please, I did, you don't do it. It really helps, especially for again your weak sections. For example, I used usually in CL mock, even in the easiest math section, I used to get 7, 6, 7, 8-ish marks. So I used to never open the sets also and see ki maine choda kya hai. So please, giving mocks is one thing, definitely that's important, but analyzing mock is the reason why you are giving mocks. So please do not leave that. And one more thing, the two things rather. One, my errors, which I hope you guys don't do, is that I used to, in my earlier mocks, since I was getting a low score, I used to attempt, again, the old pattern, in the 200 question paper, I used to attempt, let's say 90 questions. And I would suddenly hope that God will come and give me 150 marks when I'm attempting 90 questions, which would obviously not be the case. So you have your own permutation and combination, which you will develop only after giving mocks. How much time to allot to each section, when to know. I think doing questions is important, but it's also important to know which questions you have to leave. Because especially in an exam like AILET, there'll always be questions which are there only for the sole purpose so you kill your time. So that will also you'll learn from giving mocks. And one last thing, somebody asked in the chat box, is CL material enough? I would like to give a simple answer. You can do as much as you want to do. I am saying finish CL first. I am here. I haven't finished my topic test. I still haven't finished my sectional test. And Shuchi also hasn't finished hers. So I think what I also did in my preparation in the 11th grade mostly, or in the beginning of 12th, we are very frantic. We feel ki ab 1 saal bacha hai, we will give our best and we'll get material from every coaching, from every place we can find, every free material, we'll do everything. Especially this happens a lot for GK as well. So I would say the material CL gives you will not be able to finish it. Of course, Manhar did it a year back. That is a different scenario. But talking for myself, I still haven't finished it. So, and CL mocks is the closest thing that I have seen to CLAT. I have given all India mocks of other institutions also, but I can tell you with my hand on my heart that CL mocks are the closest thing to the real CLAT paper.
Yes, and just to continue from what Rushil was saying, you should, like, I've seen so many messages here asking if this is enough, if GK from here is enough. Nothing is enough. Okay, so you should just just make steps for yourself. As he said, first complete CL's material, then do this. Do as much as you efficiently can. Because I won't say do as much as you can, because then you will just, like he said, just take all material in the world and just read everything. That's not going to help. Do as much as you efficiently can and stop trying to find the answer to the question if this is enough. Because no one can tell you what's enough. No one has seen the paper. So we can't answer your question. We've given the paper, we can't answer the question. So just don't run after that. Just do as much as you efficiently can, and once again, what you think you would be satisfied with, because you just have to be true to yourself.
Yeah, and like if I can make a small point there, I mean, I can relate to you. I was asking the same question. I was sending mails to CL people that, okay, I'm over with CL material because I did all my sectional tests and topic tests. I think I finished them, I don't know, maybe by July, August. And then I was only left with mock tests and I can't give tests again. People say, give it if you can, great. I can't. So I was in your position, right? I was thinking, I'm not doing anything. So like the practical suggestions which I can
Manhar,
give you,
sorry, you were not in their position. Most of them have not even started their exams.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So let's be clear about it. You finished it, therefore at least there was some difference. A lot of people have not even started their topic tests or their sectional tests. Forget about the mocks.
Yeah, so I'm just saying if there is any person who is in my position, right? Because sometimes in these sessions, I would sometimes go out without getting a valuable input. I would feel that, someone is not relating to me. So I'm just saying, in case there is any person, right? So what you can do is, I think one way to look at it is that you have to first cover your bases. By making basis means you should have that, achha, these are my core materials. ये तो मुझे करना ही है. This is my bare minimum. So first you do that. First, as I told you, for daily one-liner GK, I did refer to one open source by the end, but that I did only after I knew all questions in Masterstroke. I knew everything in Manthan. Then I thought, okay, I'm left with some time. Let me look at an extra source. Similarly for CL mocks, right? I was just taking mocks. So sometimes 2 mocks would be spaced 2 weeks apart. So then at some point, I started feeling a little less number of CL mocks. So I took an additional test series. But of that test series, I think there were 100 tests which they gave. Out of those 100 tests, I took only 20 tests of that test series. I would not start missing my CL tests for that test series, right? I had my core that this is the bare minimum I have to do. And in addition to that, if I have time, if there are some areas where I think maybe some improvement can be made, you can take up an additional thing and just add layers to your preparation rather than taking 10 things. Once someone, this is like a funny experience and this is not a really good experience also. So someone once asked me that, do you have XYZ's coaching's answer key? And I said that, are you not subscribed to that? And he said, no, I'm not subscribed. He sent me a Telegram channel link. And I opened the Telegram channel link and every coaching's material was there. And I was scandalized. I said, what is this? This is not only illegal. This is first of all illegal because a lot of effort has gone into it. You're trying to become lawyers and you're violating copyright. But okay, that is me being too ethical. But it's
no,
not.
You better be, you are very, very good, Manhar. I'm really happy that you have picked it up. It is extremely important that if any material is given in PDF form, you are violating everything. And if you want to be lawyers, I think it's not correct. And thank you so much for bringing it up, Manhar.
But giving a more pragmatic point of view to it also, right? So I have friends who are not as ethical, but even they didn't do it because it's of no use also. Even if you take 10 test series, it is not going to help you. I mean, I don't know. It's not going to help you. It's just that, right? Just stick to something and keep asking this question. Is it enough? If you have asking, but try to self-regulate, right? Try to tell yourself that no, you have to have confidence in the process. Talk to other people around you and don't talk to a lot of people. Please have 2-3 people who you think are sensible, who are really doing something and not just showing that they're doing it, and just talk to them. Don't every day find a new person and ask, "Acha, tu mujhe apna bata do, tu mujhe apna bata do." Everyone will have their different process. Find 2-3 people you have a good tuning with. Take lessons if they can. So, for example, I incorporated 1-2 things which Rushil was doing. I incorporated 1-2 things which Shruti was doing. But I did not talk to 100 people and did everything which the 100 people said. So yes, trust the process.
Sir, could I take up one question here?
Yes.
The motivation question. What should I do if I'm demotivated because of a low score in a mock? So please understand that I got a good rank and a good score, and I come from a very positive place, which you might not be in right now. And I'm giving you a very positive and optimistic point of view. But if you do not score as good as you expected or as good as your friends did, please remember that it's a learning experience. All you can do is learn from the mock. Just make sure that you analyze it correctly. And there's no need for demotivation. It's not your CLAT exam. Even if it's your CLAT exam, it's not the end of the world. You can still get into amazing universities out there. So just remember that the whole CLAT process is a learning process, a learning experience. And I mean, I hated CLAT with every bit of me when I started. And I still do a little bit, and you will too. You will hate it and you will love it. But now when I'm in a uni and I realize the amazing people out there, if I hadn't gone through this process, I would not be able to actually survive there. I have not even started surviving there, but yeah, the whole concept of maybe I would survive there would not have been possible without this process. So you need that. And also with regards to maths, just refer to CL material. And if you even can't do that, it's very basic. Just start giving the mocks and you will realize soon that it's very easy. And sometimes also remember that the mock makers are not the real CLAT makers. So sometimes it might not be exactly what's going to come in CLAT. So the question might be really tough, might be really easy. So do not get demotivated. Just focus on the real CLAT papers. remember that the question papers that have been given, refer to that, give the exam and figure out what are the problems you faced and go with that, pave your way after that. That would be it.
So I'd just like to add to the demotivation point, simply because I was in their place a month before CLAT. I remember I've told Manhar also this multiple times, that we had our LSAT examination and I was giving CL mocks and I was confident because I was getting a decent percentile. But I gave my LSAT examination and I got a 84 percentile in that, and I was expecting somewhere around a 95 plus. So I was asking myself, what has happened? Because it wasn't as if I never felt I gave a bad examination in the day, but apparently something went wrong. And even this was 1 month before, I think third or fourth last mock that I gave, I got a percentile of 68. Suddenly from a 94, 95 I went to 68. And I didn't do anything else. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't really change my pattern. So I think everybody here has doubted themselves. Yes, Manhar has doubted himself a little less because of his percentile. But for personally speaking, that was a joke, just for the record. So for personally speaking, to my mind, we all have bad days. I personally I remember that one day I did nothing. I was just thinking, I even thought of not giving CLAT. I said, ये तो होएगा ही नहीं. LSAT 84 आ रहा है, तो यहाँ तो I will be nowhere. I filled so many forms also just because I just thought कि, at the end of the day, it's just one exam, as Nidhi said. It's just one exam. It's not the end of the world, please. And somebody commented that, people know you guys because you were Air 47, Air 1, Air 10, and so on. And people will not know us because we'll be Air 4000 or something. But Are Baba, why do you want people to know you? I don't understand. And even if you think about it, every advertisement that you see on your television, why do people pick brand ambassadors? People pick brand ambassadors because of the work that they do. Virat Kohli, for example, derives his value from cricket, not from his face. If he didn't play good cricket, nobody would care to make him their brand ambassador. I know it's a huge example for a small position, but all I'm saying is everybody has bad days. I personally had lots of bad days. So just hang in there and just do your best. And at the end of the day, what is meant for you, it shall find its way.
Yeah, and I think I can vouch for that. I mean, I have seen Rushan very closely throughout his preparation. And for an AIR 47, I mean, when you would see the process, you wouldn't think that he's getting an AIR 47. I'm being very honest. I mean, he had some days where he would score terribly low and he would be very demotivated. But I think the best thing was that to not get hung up with it, right? So like when he would score 17 a mock, he would say, "Acha, aaj mera man nahi hai. Tomorrow I will send you all my English and logical doubts. You clear your doubts. I will send him voice notes explaining kiska tum aise socho. He would say, chalo, okay, let's see, the next mock is on 15th. That's it. You just learn and you move on. And second thing is obviously having a good ecosystem around you, people who motivate you and people who are not always saying, Acha, mere to itne hai. I mean, I am able to score AIR 1 because not even one person I was associated with was jealous of me. I mean, whether it's Rushil, whether it's Shruti, whether it was Areeb, I never felt any element of jealousy. So have good people around you. Associate with a mentor. For example, I regularly took doubt sessions. And, my last 2 mocks, I was not happy. At one point of time, I scored a 130. At one point of time, I even went to 135. And I was really hoping that my last mock before CLAT, I should at least score 125 so that I can be very confident. But my last mock before CLAT, I scored 110. And the mock before that, I also scored 110. And I remember 1 week before the session, I was in the doubt session with Jyoti ma'am. And I was telling her that, ma'am, ye kya, matlab 110, I'm scoring, matlab ye kya ho raha hai? And she said something which really stayed with me. She said that, Manhar, I've seen your journey. And every time you score 2 less, like you score, you score really bad and you score really bad. And then the third mock, you score really good. So you have done 2 bad mocks. You have got 110, you have got 110. Now on the 23rd of July, you're going to get 127 or whatever. And that really gave me a lot of confidence. So have good people around you. Don't always try to compare yourselves. I mean, yes, it is good to have idols. It is good to have competition. So for instance, I don't consider myself a benchmark, but Rushil and Areeb sometimes did say that, I get motivated being with you. I don't know how, but yes, I mean, it is good to have good people whom you get motivated by. but don't have people who are just negative and who are just asking you scores and comparing scores. Uske itne aaye, mere itne aaye, us teesre bande ke itne aaye. I never knew kiske kitne aaye. I mean, I never knew it. I just knew 2-3 people. That's it. So yeah, just don't think too much and don't compare yourselves.
Starting to that, people, the highest I ever got was 111, and I have even scored a 66. So just putting it out there that scores do not matter. Okay, like Manhar completed a lot of it, and he was pretty chill with his mocks. Like Manhar, if I got 110 before the exam, I think I would have been on cloud nine. I got a 78 before. In the last mock that I gave, I got a 78 and 80 percentile, and I was pretty sad. I threw a whole tantrum that flat is definitely not my forte. But yeah, it's okay. You move on and you take care of yourself because mocks are mocks. So a 66 is also okay, and it might get you air too. So just be all right.
And also, I also wanted to add to what Manhar was saying about having positive people around you. So, like, there's this saying, and I truly believe it, that you are the average of the 5 closest people to you. So, like, if you surround yourself with hardworking, motivating people, you will be hardworking and motivating. There's no chance that you're surrounded by hardworking people and you're lazing around. That's not possible. So, in fact, like me, Rochelle, Arif, we've all discussed this, that we do think we do owe our ranks to Manhar, at least to a certain extent, because he did motivate us. And like this environment does help. And I think also I do understand that's maybe a position of privilege that we are able to surround ourselves with positive people, but like we should at least always try to. And for the exam day, I think you should just convince yourself that you are the smartest person on earth, and that if anything is tough, it's tough for everyone. You're not finding it tough, it's tough for everyone. Just have so much confidence in yourself and you will ace it. Just don't worry.
Yeah, and I did forget to mention Sukar. He is not here right now, but he taught me the entire quant section. So yeah, Shruti, Manhar, you guys said the perfect thing that needed to be said. Please get people you can rely on. They are very important. They will not always be people who are giving the exam at the same time as you. They can be juniors, they can be seniors, they can be your parents and your mentors, anybody. Just to not get into the abyss of unhappiness and depression because you're not doing good enough.
Okay, so I think personally, I don't want this to stop. Let me be very frank, actually. So I'm really enjoying this session, but I think it has to stop at some point of time. So, but then I would also agree to this fact, and I think Arksy would also agree that this batch of NLSIU is something very different, actually. So I think NLSIU will now be very proud of what we are sending to them, actually. So I think they would be really proud of us, and they should thank us back, actually. But really, really wonderful guys. I think everyone out here they have learned a lot today, actually, with you guys being here, and what a discussion. Nidhi taking the role out there and ensuring that every chat is being answered over there, though people are addressing. I wanted to write about that, addressing you, Dee. I don't know whether you liked it or not. But then, yeah, so obviously, but then I think it was one of the most wonderful sessions I came across actually in recent times. And I really love doing this, being part of this session. Hope all the people attending the session today, all the students out there who are attending the session today, you enjoyed it, but you learned a lot about it actually. So I think they covered a lot of things which we have been telling you inside the classes. Whenever we got a chance to interact through our intro sessions or strategy sessions, I think now that idea has been reinforced once again. What Manhar, Shruti, Rochelle, Nidhi spoke about today actually. It's just that you now go back to the tables, go back to the drawing board, start your preparation if you have not started yet. Go back, attend classes, the usual stuffs that are going to help you out actually. So with that, Aks, anything you have to say before we close this session?
I will say 2 points, and both not to our students who are listening to that, but these 4 lovely, lovely kids. I mean, friends, I am so proud of you. Absolutely, absolutely thrilled and proud of you. Second, while it is actually I'm proud of you for the kind of maturity you have shown in the last 1.5 hours. I mean, it's amazing to find, and I remember at 18, I was absolutely a nobody. And at your 18, 19 years, you guys are amazing. And I'm telling you, I'm probably more proud than your parents. to be honest with you. Now, second reason, and this is a small advice, unsolicited, like I keep saying, and Nidhi, मैंने आपको unsolicited दे दिया, मनहार को भी दे दिया, मनहार को भी दे दिया, for four of you too. Don't let, like MS Dhoni में बोलता है ना उसका पिताजी, don't let success go to your heads. You have a lot to achieve, very lot to achieve, and make yourself proud, your parents proud, your teachers proud, society proud, and the country proud too. I think it's been a great session, and all of you who are listening, guys, take the positive. In fact, the words that four of you have used, take the positive energy from here. Don't worry about all the negatives that can happen. Don't worry about what all can go wrong. Look at only the positives. Keep putting in small efforts, you will succeed. Thank you very much. Thank you, GP sir. Thank you, Amitendra, and Rushil, Shruti, Nidhi, Manhar. It was amazing to have you guys. Thank you so much.
And personally, I would like to thank Manhar, Shruti, Rushil, Nidhi, who on such a short notice agreed to this session. I think Manhar's question was, sir, is it not going to be repetitive? I think Suhasini gave his question was there. But every time I think I've seen your video, your interaction, every time I believe there is something new which you guys have to talk about actually. So thank you once again. Thank you for being here.